Hey everyone. Welcome to AfriHeart Stories, your go-to spot for African tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe and drop a comment. Now sit back and enjoy. Rain ticked against the kitchen window while stew bubbled. Amara stirred and scanned school emails. Soft feet patted in. Ifeanyi, 6, unicorn nightgown grazing the tiles, gripped Amara's arm with both hands, cold, steady, not playful. Mommy? Yes, my star? Oh, I'm scared of Grandma. Scared of who? Amara asked, though she'd heard it the first time. Grandma. Ife didn't look toward the sitting room. Through the doorway, Mama Okafor sat straight on the brown sofa, wrapper tight, eyes fixed on the TV's blue. Why? Amara said. Did she scold you? Ife shook her head. She was talking to my doll. A laugh rose and died. Amara crouched. You can tell me anything here. Always. She said I shouldn't tell, Ife whispered. In this house truth is allowed, Amara said. Ife folded into Amara's shoulder. Amara held her until the stew threatened to burn, then plated jollof and plantain for 3, mind buzzing. Mama had insisted on this visit. Let me stay a few days, she'd said, voice sweet and immovable. I miss my granddaughter. Since Papa's death, softness had thinned into something harder. Amara had blamed grief. Tonight the excuse felt small. Food is ready, Amara called. Mama lowered the volume, smile neat. Good daughter, she said. Bring my own here. Ife hovered behind Amara. Mama patted the cushion. Ifeanyi, come and sit with Grandma. She'll sit at the table, Amara said lightly. We'll all eat there. They ate. Mama asked proper questions. School, church, landlord. Ife answered in shy murmurs. When Mama offered a spoon from her plate, Ife's mouth pinched, a tiny shake of the head. Amara pretended not to notice, but her fork slowed. Children of nowadays, Mama chuckled. No respect for elders. Tomorrow I'll take her to market for ribbons. We'll see, Amara said. Homework and spelling test. A little time with her grandmother will not kill her. The tone was sweet, the gaze was iron. After dinner, Ife arranged crayons. Mama watched the news. Amara washed plates, phone buzzing with Ngozi's message. How is the Queen Mother? Amara typed, pray for me. Mommy, Ife whispered from the doorway. Can I sleep with you tonight? You love your big girl bed, Amara began, then saw her mouth tighten. Okay. Tonight. Later, passing the sitting room, Amara saw Mama seemingly asleep, one hand tucked beneath her wrapper, TV light gliding across her knuckles. As Amara moved, Mama's eyes opened. You are pacing, Mama said. Rest Enemy. I'm fine. Ife curled into the duvet. Amara lay beside her and turned off the lamp. Mommy? Ife said into the dark. I'm here. She was at my door last night, the child whispered. She said my name but her mouth didn't move. You had a bad dream, Amara murmured, though her skin prickled. Near midnight, the corridor switch clicked. Soft steps. Cloth brushed a wall. A shadow slid beneath the door. Amara sat up. Mama? She called evenly. The steps paused. I was checking if doors are locked, came the bright reply. City people forget safety. Morning arrived brittle. Mama ground something in her small mortar. Blessed morning, she said. Boil water. The child should not go to school with cold stomach. Ife bounced in with her backpack. Grandma, see my drawing. Put it down. Eat first. Mama poured juice, then, thinking herself unseen, tilted her palm over the rim. Powder pinched between fingers disappeared with a flick. Amara moved before thought. She poured a second glass, smiled, and swapped them as if she'd noticed a smudge. This one's mine, she said. Ife, drink after food. Mama's gaze slid to the glass in Amara's hand, lingered, then drifted away. Yes. After food. They ate. Twice Amara lifted the glass, twice she lowered it. The scent was ordinary. Ife hummed, legs knocking the chair. Finish up. We'll be late, Amara said. She touched the juice to her mouth, let the smallest sip in. A bitterness bloomed, aspirin ground to dust. She set the glass down. I'll drop her at school, she said. Mama nodded at the TV. I can take her. I know her way. It's fine. In the corridor, Ife tugged her shirt. Mommy, can I take Brownie? The ragged doll leaned on the shelf, one button eye loose. After school, Amara said. We'll fix her eye this evening. Back home, Mama had swept and folded throws into crisp lines. You're back early, she said, eyes measuring. I forgot my ID, Amara lied, going to the kitchen. The bitter glass still stood there. She lifted it, saw faint residue on the rim. Her hand hovered over the tap, then stopped. Evidence. She dabbed the rim with a tissue, sealed it in a zip bag, slipped it into her handbag. Have you finished? Mama said from the doorway. You look tired. Sit. I'm fine. Your brother called, Mama added. He says you are too soft with the child. We must shape her while she is tender. We'll shape her with love, Amara said. Mama smiled without warmth. Love requires sacrifice. The afternoon crawled. Ngozi texted, at the lab. Bring it. Amara told Mama she was going to the market and stepped into a street steaming after rain. The zip bag throbbed in her handbag. By evening she was back. Ngozi's message buzzed. I'll run a quick test. Call later. The house felt different, as if a new door had opened and something cold had stepped in. Ife returned sleepy and clingy. She refused the stew Grandma served. I'm not hungry, she whispered. Leave the child, Mama said. She is stubborn because you spoil her. We're fine, Amara said. Night rose. Amara read to Ife until her breathing evened. She lay awake, replaying powder and bitterness. She stood to stretch. From the sitting room a flicker of silver caught her eye, just a heartbeat of shine beneath Mama's wrapper, a precise metallic blink as the TV changed scenes. Amara stilled, breath held, the question opening in her like a trapdoor. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the curtains, but the house still felt dim. Amara sat at the edge of her bed, already in her office dress, while Ife tugged at the hem of her uniform. Do I have to go to school today? Ife's voice was small. Yes, my star. You love school. Amara tried to make her smile. But Grandma. Amara crouched. Grandma won't be at school. You'll be safe there. Ife nodded, though her eyes darted toward the sitting room door. Mama Okafor was waiting at the dining table, her wrapper of fresh indigo, headscarf tied into sharp points. Good morning, Annie, she greeted, a smile pulling at her lips. Let me take her today. I want to see how her teachers are. It's okay, Mama. I'll take her myself. Mama's eyes lingered a second too long, then she leaned back. You're becoming like your father. Always wanting to do everything yourself. They rode to school with the radio low. Ife didn't say much. At the gate, she squeezed Amara's hand hard before running off. Amara stayed until she was inside the classroom. Back home, the living room smelled of camphor. Mama was in the kitchen boiling something on the stove that smelled like crushed leaves and earth. What's that? Amara asked. For cleansing the house, Mama replied without turning. City air is dirty. Amara let it slide, but her skin prickled. At dinner that night, Mama served the food herself, yam pottage with vegetables. She placed Ife's plate in front of her with deliberate care. Thank you, Grandma, Ife said softly. She didn't touch the food. Eat, Ifyananya, Mama urged. Ife pushed the plate back. I'm not hungry. Amara intervened. She had snacks at school. I'll warm it for her later. Mama's mouth tightened. Children should not waste food. In my day. Mama, Amara cut in, it's fine. The meal was quiet after that. Later, while clearing the plates, Amara noticed Mama watching Ife again, not with affection but with a measuring look as though she were memorizing her face. That night, Amara was reading in bed when she heard a small sound, like a gasp, from Ife's room. She rushed in to find Ife sitting up, eyes wide. Grandma was here, she whispered. What do you mean? I woke up and she was standing by my bed. She didn't say anything. She just looked at me. Amara swallowed. Maybe you dreamed it. No, Ife said firmly. She was holding something shiny. The words settled heavy in Amara's chest. She kissed Ife's forehead and stayed with her until she slept. The next night, Amara decided to stay awake. She sat on the edge of her bed, listening. Around midnight, the house settled into deep quiet. Then she heard it, slow, deliberate footsteps in the hallway. She eased her door open. Mama Okafor was moving toward Ife's room, her wrapper brushing the walls. In her right hand was something small, metal catching the faint light. Mama? Amara's voice cut through the stillness. Mama turned, startled. Why are you awake? I heard movement. I was just checking on the child, Mama said, her tone clipped. These days, children sleep with their mouths open and catch cold. Amara forced a smile. I'll check on her. You should rest. Mama stared a moment longer, then walked back to her room. The next morning, Ife's favorite doll lay on the floor, its belly ripped open, stuffing spilling out. Ife, what happened? Amara asked. Ife's eyes filled. I woke up and saw Grandma holding it. She took something out. What did she take? I don't know. When Amara confronted Mama, she shrugged. It's an old doll. It must have torn. But Amara noticed something odd, traces of fine powder in the stuffing. She scooped some into a plastic bag, her hands trembling. She thought of Ngozi. She'd know what to do. Ngozi worked in a small private lab attached to the university. Amara called her immediately. I need you to check something for me, she said, keeping her voice low. Bring it over. Don't say anything else on the phone, Ngozi replied. That afternoon, Amara slipped out, telling Mama she was going to buy cooking oil. She handed Ngozi the bag with the powder. Ngozi frowned. Where did this come from? From Ife's doll. Mama was acting strange. I'll run some tests and call you, Ngozi promised. Back home, Mama was sitting by the window peeling oranges. You went out for a long time, she said. I stopped at the market. That evening, Ngozi called. Her voice was serious. Amara, we need to talk in person. That's not normal powder. Amara met Ngozi at a quiet roadside cafe. The smell of suya smoke drifted from the vendor nearby. Ngozi slid a folded paper across the table. It's a sedative, mixed with an unknown herbal substance. Dangerous in high doses. Amara felt her stomach drop. Why would Mama have that? That's what you need to find out. Don't let Ife out of your sight. Back home, Amara watched Mama like a hawk. That evening, Mama poured 2 cups of juice. One for Ife, one for Amara. When Mama wasn't looking, Amara swapped them. She sat at the table, lifted the glass to her lips, and took a small sip. A bitter taste bloomed instantly. Her pulse raced. She set the glass down. Mama's eyes flicked to it. Drink up, Enemy. You're too thin. I'll finish later, Amara said, forcing a smile. That night, as Ife slept, Amara sat awake, the bitter taste still on her tongue, and the terrifying thought that her own mother might be trying to harm her child. Amara lay in bed long after midnight, the bitter tang still clinging to her tongue. It wasn't just bitterness, it was a warning. The kind that creeps into your bones. She couldn't risk Ife's safety another day. Morning came with heavy clouds. Mama was already in the kitchen, humming an old folk song Amara remembered from childhood, the kind Mama used to sing while grinding herbs. Good morning, Annie, Mama greeted. I've made pap for Ifyananya. It will make her strong. I'll feed her, Amara said quickly. Mama's humming faltered for a fraction of a second before she smiled. You're spoiling her. A child needs discipline. She has discipline, Amara replied. She doesn't need anything extra. Mama's eyes narrowed. You're talking in riddles. Before the conversation could spiral, Ife shuffled in. Amara placed the pap in front of her and stayed close until she finished it. She noticed Mama watching, not the way a grandmother admires her grandchild eating, but the way a person watches a plan fail. That afternoon, Chika called. His voice was tense. Amara, I've been hearing things about Mama. What kind of things? She's been going to the herbalist's hut in the village. People say she's doing rituals. I don't know for what, but you need to be careful. Amara's heart sank. She's here with us now. I'm coming tomorrow. Before Chika arrived, Mama cornered Amara in the kitchen. You are too overprotective, she said, her voice low. You don't understand our ways. Ife is part of this family. She has a role to play. What role? Amara demanded. Mama smiled, a small, unsettling curve of her lips. You wouldn't understand. Chika arrived mid-morning, carrying a bag of fruit and an expression carved from stone. Mama, good afternoon, he greeted. Ah, my son, Mama said warmly, hugging him. It's been too long. I've been busy, Chika replied, glancing at Amara. We need to talk later. The afternoon was tense. Mama busied herself in the kitchen, humming again. Amara and Chika sat in the living room, speaking in low tones. She's been meeting a man named Dyke, Chika whispered. The herbalist. He's not someone you want near Ife. There are whispers about a sacrifice to protect the family's wealth. Amara shivered. That's ridiculous. Chika's gaze was steady. You think so? Remember what happened to Cousin Adi's child? That memory was like a shadow Amara had tried to forget. A sudden illness, a burial no one explained. That night, Ife refused to sleep in her room. Grandma keeps calling my name, she said, but her mouth doesn't move. Amara decided. You'll sleep with me until further notice. Amara waited until Ife was asleep, then positioned herself in a chair beside the bed. The room was dim, the only light from the street lamp outside. At 2 a.m., soft shuffling reached her ears. The door creaked open and Mama Okafor appeared, silhouetted, her lips moving in a slow chant. "Mama," Amara said sharply. The chanting stopped. Mama's face was unreadable in the shadow. "I was checking on her." "With a chant." "It's a prayer." Amara didn't answer. Mama lingered, then turned away. After she left, Ife stirred. "Is she gone?" "Yes, baby." Ife reached under her pillow and handed Amara her phone. "I recorded it. I thought you'd believe me if you saw." Amara unlocked the phone. The grainy night video showed Mama standing over Ife's bed, holding a knife. Amara's breath caught. The next morning, Amara called Chika. "You need to see this." He came within the hour. Amara showed him the video. His jaw tightened. "We have to get Ife out of here. Today. And tell the police what? That my own mother is, what? Planning a ritual?" Chika exhaled. "You can't wait for proof that satisfies everyone. That child's safety comes first." Amara agreed. But before they could make a plan, she returned from dropping Ife at school to find Mama going through Ife's school bag. "What are you doing?" Amara snapped. "Checking her books." "For what?" Mama didn't answer. She zipped the bag slowly, her gaze fixed on Amara. "You'll regret pushing me away." That evening, Amara couldn't hold it in. "Mama, what is going on?" Mama looked up from her chair. "Family responsibilities." "What responsibilities involve sedatives, torn dolls, and knives by my child's bed?" Mama's eyes hardened. "You think you know everything because you live in the city. You don't know the dangers that circle this family. I am protecting us." "Protecting us from what?" "From poverty. From enemies. From those who wish to see our name destroyed." "By harming Ife?" Amara's voice shook. Mama rose slowly. "A seed must be planted for a tree to grow. Sometimes the seed is one of our own." Amara stepped back. "If you ever go near her again." Mama cut her off. "You are young and foolish. When the time comes, you will see I was right." That night, Amara tucked Ife into her bed and locked the door. Her phone buzzed. It was Pastor Ease. "Amara," he said urgently, "I need to speak to you about your mother." "It cannot wait." Pastor Ease arrived the next morning, his expression grave. Amara ushered him into the living room, glancing toward Mama's closed bedroom door. "Speak quietly," she whispered. He leaned forward. "Amara, your mother has been consulting a man in the village, an herbalist known for dark things. Dyke." "I know," Amara said. "Chika told me." Pastor E shook his head. "What Chika doesn't know is why. She believes she must secure the family's fortune by giving a child's life before the next new moon. That child is Ife." Amara's skin went cold. "How do you know this?" "Dyke bragged to someone after church. Word spread. I came as soon as I could." Before Amara could respond, Mama's door opened. She stepped out calm as ever. "Pastor, you are welcome," she said. "What are you telling my daughter?" Pastor Ease rose. "That God will never accept the sacrifice of the innocent." Mama's eyes flashed. "God accepts what keeps a family alive." She turned and walked out of the house. That night she didn't return. By morning, Chika had arrived again. "Where's Mama?" "She left last night," Amara said. "No word." A neighbor knocked. "I saw your mother heading toward the old road. She was with Dyke." Chika and Amara didn't hesitate. They drove the dusty path to the edge of the forest. There, half hidden, was a small hut wreathed in smoke. They crept close, crouching behind a thick palm trunk. Inside, Mama sat across from a tall man in a faded wrapper. "The girl must be brought here before the new moon," the man said. "She will be here," Mama replied. "Her mother will agree." Amara's stomach churned. As they turned to leave, Mama's head lifted. Her eyes locked on Amara through the doorway. No surprise. No guilt. Just certainty. Mama returned home that afternoon. She sat in the armchair, hands folded. "You have 2 days," she said evenly. 2 days to let Ife come with me to the village." "She's not going anywhere with you," Amara said. Mama's lips pressed thin. "Then you will face the consequences." The house became unbearable. Mama moved like a shadow, speaking little but watching constantly. Amara kept Ife within arm's reach. On the second night, Amara woke with a jolt. Ife's bed was empty. She raced through the house, calling her name. She found her in the backyard, sitting beneath the mango tree, eyes glassy. "Ife." Amara shook her gently. "I don't remember coming here," Ife whispered. Ngozi, who had come to help, pointed at a small cut on Ife's hand. Dried herbs were pressed into it. By morning, Amara was done with patience. She searched the house from top to bottom. It was while cleaning the storeroom that she saw it, a small door half hidden behind stacked chairs. It was locked. "Chica," she called. He came, crowbar in hand. With one heavy pull the lock gave way. Inside was a small windowless space. Candles burned low on the floor. Strange chalk symbols covered the walls. And in the center, photos of Ife, some recent, some clearly taken without Amara's knowledge. Amara's knees buckled. She's been planning this for months. The door creaked. Mama stood there, eyes sharp as glass. "You've been spying on my child," Amara said, her voice shaking. Mama stepped inside, unbothered. "Not spying. Preparing." "Preparing for what?" "Her death." Mama's tone softened dangerously. "For her role. You think life is a straight road. It is not. Some roads demand a toll." "That's madness," Chica spat. "You're sacrificing your own blood." Mama's gaze cut to him. "You've forgotten the famine years. You were a child, but I remember. What I did to keep us alive." "This is not survival," Amara said. "It's evil." Mama's face hardened. "You'll see when the enemies come." She brushed past them and left the room. That night, Amara locked every door and window. But the house no longer felt like hers, it felt like Mama's. The night after finding the hidden room, Amara barely slept. She kept the bedroom door locked and Ife curled against her side. Every creak of the house made her grip the blanket tighter. By morning, Mama was nowhere to be seen. But when she returned around noon, her eyes were dark with something beyond anger. "You've let outsiders poison your mind," she said, standing in the doorway. "That room you broke into was for the family's protection. You've destroyed everything." "I've destroyed nothing," Amara said. "You're the one bringing danger into this house." Mama's voice was low and sharp. "You have two choices, give her to me willingly or watch worse things happen." "Leave this house," Amara ordered. "Today." Mama gave a short, humorless laugh. "You think a door can keep me away from what is mine?" That night, Amara double-checked the locks. She kept Ife in her room, her phone clutched in her hand in case she needed to call Chica or the police. Sometime after midnight, glass shattered. Amara sprang up, heart pounding, and ran to Ife's room. The window was open, curtains flapping in the night air, and halfway through it, crouched on the sill, was Mama. "Get away from her," Amara shouted. Mama froze for a heartbeat, then swung one leg into the room. Ife whimpered and buried her face in the pillow. Amara lunged forward, grabbing her mother's arm. The strength in Mama's grip startled her. It was like holding a rope pulled taut by a storm. "You don't understand," Mama hissed. "She is the key to everything. She's a child, not your bargaining chip." Ife's sobs broke the standoff. In that moment, Amara shoved Mama back through the window. Mama stumbled but landed on her feet, glaring up at Amara like a shadow come to life. "I will take her," she said coldly. "Even if it's the last thing I do." Amara slammed the window shut and locked it, chest heaving. She called Chica immediately. He arrived within 20 minutes, fury etched into every line of his face. "This ends now," he said. Before dawn, a neighbor knocked quietly. "I saw your mother heading toward the herbalist's hut again," he whispered. Amara's blood ran cold. "Then we know where she's going next." Amara, Chica, and Ngozi sat in the living room, the air heavy with urgency. "She'll try again," Chica said. "And if she reaches that hut, we might not get Ife back." Ngozi leaned forward. "Then we give her what she wants, sort of. We make her think you're bringing Ife to her. It's the only way to catch her in the act." Amara's stomach turned at the thought. "You want me to hand my daughter over?" "Not for real," Chica said quickly. "We'll set it up with Pastor Ease. He has connections with the police. They'll be ready." By evening the plan was in motion. Pastor Ease had spoken to the local DPO, who agreed to send plainclothes officers. The meeting was arranged for midnight at the herbalist's hut. Amara spent the hours leading up to it holding Ife close, whispering promises in her ear. "You'll be okay, my star. I'll be with you the whole time." Ife nodded, though her grip on Amara's hand never loosened. When midnight drew near, they set out. The road to the hut was dark, lit only by the car's headlights. In the back seat, Ife leaned against Amara, eyes wide. At the forest's edge, they stopped. Chica stayed close, his phone ready to signal the officers. The air smelled of damp earth and something faintly metallic, like blood. And ahead, through the trees, the faint glow of fire marked the place where everything would be decided. The forest was alive with whispers, wind through the leaves, the creak of branches, and somewhere deeper, the faint beat of a drum. Amara tightened her hold on Ife's small hand. Chica walked slightly ahead, scanning the darkness. Behind them, Ngozi moved quietly, phone pressed to her ear, relaying updates to the plainclothes officers lying in wait. They reached the clearing. The hut loomed in the flicker of firelight, its walls daubed with white chalk symbols. In front, a large clay pot steamed, the smell of bitter herbs heavy in the air. From the shadows, Mama Okafor stepped forward. Her wrapper was tied differently tonight, heavy beads clinking around her neck. Her eyes fixed on Ife, soft at first glance but hungry beneath. "You came," she said, voice low. Amara stood tall. "I came to tell you this ends here." Mama smiled faintly. "You still don't understand any? The girl is chosen. Without her, our family's fortune dies with us." "She's not yours to take," Amara said. "She's my child." The herbalist emerged from the hut, tall and gaunt, eyes glinting in the firelight. In his hands he held a carved wooden bowl filled with dark liquid. "Bring her," he ordered. Mama stepped forward, reaching for Ife. Amara moved sideways, keeping herself between them. "You have no right." Mama snapped. "No right." Amara's voice broke. "I carried her. I kept her safe when the world turned its back. You." The herbalist interrupted, voice rising. "Enough. The moon is right. If she is not given now, the curse will fall." Behind them, Chica shifted slightly, sending the agreed-upon signal, 2 short flashes from his phone. Mama's eyes darted toward the trees. "You called them." The police burst from the shadows, flashlights slicing through the clearing. "Nobody move." The herbalist tried to flee, but 2 officers tackled him. Mama struggled as they pulled her hands behind her back, her gaze never leaving Amara's. "You've cursed this family," she hissed, voice trembling with rage. "You've doomed us all." Amara stood frozen, Ife clinging to her leg. For a moment, she saw not a dangerous stranger but the woman who once braided her hair for school, who held her during storms. But then she remembered the knife, the powder, the torn doll. "Mama," she said softly, "you did this to yourself." The officers led Mama and the herbalist away. The fire hissed as they kicked it out, plunging the clearing into darkness. Amara held Ife close, feeling her small heartbeat against her own. It was over, or so she thought. The days after the arrest felt strange, too quiet, as if the house itself was holding its breath. Mama Okafor remained in custody, facing charges of conspiracy, child endangerment, and unlawful rituals. The herbalist, Dyke, was found to be linked to several other suspicious cases. The news rippled through the community, leaving whispers in its wake. Amara tried to shield Ife from it all. She moved them to a small rented bungalow on the other side of town, away from the street where neighbors had seen too much. On their first night in the new house, Ife clung to Amara as they unpacked. "Will Grandma come here?" she asked. "No," Amara said firmly. "She can't hurt you anymore." "But I saw her in my dream," Ife whispered. "She was calling me." Amara hugged her. "Dreams can't touch you. Not when I'm here." Chica visited often, bringing groceries and fixing anything that didn't work in the house. One evening, as they sat on the porch, he said quietly, "You know, some people will say you went too far." "I didn't go far enough," Amara replied. "If the police hadn't come that night, she would have taken her." Chica nodded. "I believe you. But she's still our mother." Amara's eyes filled. "I know. And I wish she had been just that, our mother. Not this." Pastor Ease came by a week later, bringing a small Bible for Ife. "This is for courage," he told her. "Whenever you feel afraid, remember you're loved and protected." Ife smiled shyly, clutching the book. Life began to settle into a rhythm. Ife went back to school. Amara found a part-time job with flexible hours so she could always be home when Ife returned. They cooked together in the evenings, laughter slowly pushing out the shadows. But some nights, Amara would wake to find Ife sitting up in bed, eyes wide. "I thought I heard her," she'd say. Each time, Amara would hold her until she fell back asleep. One rainy afternoon, Amara was folding laundry when she found an old photo tucked between the towels, one she didn't remember packing. It was of Mama holding Amara as a baby, both of them smiling. She stared at it for a long time. The woman in the picture looked nothing like the one who had stood in the clearing that night, beads clinking in the firelight. She slipped the photo into a drawer. Some memories weren't meant to be kept in the open. Weeks later, on the morning of Ife's 7th birthday, Amara watched her daughter blow out the candles on a small cake Chica had brought. For the first time in months, The smile on Ife's face reached her eyes. As she tucked Ife into bed that night, Amara whispered, "I will always protect you. Always." Ife's eyelids fluttered shut, her breathing slow and steady. Amara stood by the doorway for a while, listening to the rain on the roof, the soft hum of the fan. For now they were safe. But deep down she knew some wounds didn't close. They just learned how to hide. And sometimes in the quiet she could still hear her mother's voice, low, insistent, calling her name. Liked it? Thumbs up, subscribe and join the AfriHeart fam. Your support fuels our stories. Until next time.